Let's draw. Have you ever heard of the Hanged One? It is the 12th major arcana card from Tarot and brings a powerful message. It invites us to change perspective. Even though they're hanging upside down, they're serene. Even in their less glad representations, it seems they're hanging willingly. They look unbothered by the current situation. And take advantage of that new point of view they are forced with. They are telling us this situation might not seem good, but what if we look at it another way? That's how we should deal with failure. I've been thinking a lot about what to say in this one, and honestly, the words are coming to me like a river flowing through my fingers right now. Where do we begin with? I feel like I'm failing right now. To be exact, I feel like I'm falling from the blessed, frenetic state I've been going through on autopilot in the past month and a half. I felt invincible. I saw all of my dreams unraveling and coming true. I saw it all. In my head. Those goals still haven't been reached. My climb to success slowed down. Lately, I felt defeated. But then, I remembered the Hanged One card. You have no idea how many self-development creators and authors I've consulted to understand how to deal with this feeling. But then, talking about synchronicities, I went to the beach. And I had forgotten my phone at home. So, I felt a force pulling me to reach for my sketchbook. I had planned to do this collaboration with a friend of mine, and we both had to draw something inspired by this tree we encountered on a Sunday morning. I'm doing this exercise where I try to have conversations with my inner child. I sat and asked her, "What should we draw?" "Just go with your initial idea," she answered. Your character hanging from the tree, but add something big watching her from behind. Could be a giant eye, or maybe, since you like to draw them, a skull. I sketched it while listening to the waves on a gloomy afternoon by the sea. And then, looking at it at home, I couldn't help but think about the Hanged Man card. Of how that card spoke to this moment I'm living, and of how, without knowing, following its teaching got me out of this hole in the ground many times before. Every single time I felt at my lowest, what brought me back up was changing perspective. How do we change perspective? Starting with gratitude. Starting acknowledging what we have and stopping focusing on what we lack. The reason why we struggle so much in dealing with failure is because we feel constantly watched. Let me ask you this. If nobody was watching, if nobody knew, would you still feel like a failure? If there was no follower count, no number of views or likes, no grades at school, no paycheck differences, if everyone had to dress the same, would we still experience the feeling of failure? If there wasn't anybody to let down, if our actions affected us only, would we still feel like a failure? We've been told falling makes us get up stronger, but what I learned is that what brought me back up was always treating myself with kindness. They made us believe that insulting us, beating us down, and treating us like garbage is what makes us stronger. But I realized that every single time what saved me was finding a kind voice among all those negative ones, and that voice was mine. It is not a coincidence that nowadays we are trying to re-educate teachers and parents to kindness, Kindness has been mistaken for dishonesty and associated with spoiling children, but those are different things. We can say no with kindness. We can be honest through it. I stand and live by that. I get hungry and mean at times, for I'm a human. But as I grow, I'm learning to be honest, stand my ground, and set boundaries, all through kindness. That same kindness we seek in other human beings, we must find in ourselves. When a dear friend of ours fails, what do? We take care of them, we hug them, we acknowledge what happened, and we try to see the bright side. We let them notice what goods are left from that experience, whether it's just, now you are free to start over. We cheer them up. Being a real good friend means being honest, being kind, and being there when there's need. But we struggle to give such treatment to our dearest friend, ourselves. Think about it. What is that one thing that links all those motivational speeches we seek? The notion of kindness. It's okay to fail, it's okay to fall. People will tell you no, don't worry, keep going. It's more and more rare to find effective motivational speeches starting with, you The coach screaming to the kid, you can't play during the soccer match, is not why the kid strikes a goal. It's the kid's kind inner voice saying, don't worry, he's wrong, you can do it. What does the job? In elementary school, I had very good grades because we had exceptional teachers. A smile and a kind word were always reserved, even for the laziest kid. Even when someone was so naughty that you had to get them out of the class, it was always done with much respect. In middle school, that changed. Teachers were disrespectful, and some of them were mean. I arrived as a top-grade kid. At half of the first year in middle school, my grades had dropped, and I had failed in one of my classes. I started getting better grades 2 years later, the moment a teacher was kind to me and told me, you are not as bad as you think. You are good. You can do it. He was my art teacher. And I kept seeing that difference in my behavior and motivation whenever I encountered a different kind of teacher. Our most severe teacher in high school was the art history professor. She would not make discounts for unprepared students, but she's always been kind and respectful while being firm and honest. I could have been the top of the class, but if I did not know the answer to a question, she would give me a bad grade. And when I was prepared, she would give me a good grade. And so I would love that class, even if I was afraid of being asked for my homework at times. And apart from her role as a teacher, she would be an excellent human being. If any of her students needed to talk, she was there, respectful, honest, and kind. Sounds familiar? Isn't that what a good friend also does? Now, what we must learn is to begin this process even before reaching out for a good friend. Especially while growing up, and in my case at 30 years old, it's much more difficult to run to a friend for comfort. We have careers, families, appointments. Sometimes we can't even answer the phone. That friend could be going through a much rougher time than the one we are experiencing. And at times we might feel ashamed of our feelings. And we end up not wanting anybody to know, not even our friends. And so we remain alone. And that is the most precious moment of all. The moment for us to show up for ourselves. The moment where acceptance, forgiveness, and self-love can finally begin. The moment I shift my attention from feeling lonely to recognizing I'm finally alone with myself, that is the moment I start changing perspective. That is the moment we can acknowledge freedom, the freedom to start over. It might be a slow process, but I promise that that path is always available. We start with gratitude. Stop thinking about what we lack. Ask yourself, what do I have? I have a roof over my head. I have a passion I want to turn into a career. I have my education. What if I don't even have those things? You have yourself, first of all. People came from sleeping in the cold streets with only the night sky as a roof to building empires. We hear stories like those all the time. Most of us here have internet access and the time to watch a video. It's more than others can say. When we fail, we remain alone and free. We lose a job, we fail a test, we get rejected, we break up with our partners, and we fight with our only friend and never see them again. A video flops. The reason why we struggle to focus on being alone and being free is because we feel watched. Our failure disappoints our parents, our partners, our colleagues, our bosses, our friends, our followers and subscribers. And we spend so much time thinking of how to make them not think bad things about us that we never actually start thinking, what can I do for myself? To make me feel better, to make me improve, to make me more confident, for me. Samuel Beckett wrote, "Try again, fail better." At the beginning of 2024, I got a short story of mine rejected from a project. I got the job, but I had to write another story. I felt so heartbroken because both I and my friends loved that first story so much. I cried over it. I considered giving up and abandoning it all. I would have preferred not being hired for the project at all than risk writing another bad story for them to think, this girl can't write. I wrote the email where I told them I was declining the offer. I had it all written down. I just had to press send. But I didn't. Writing the second story was painful. The first story kind of came to me naturally, while I had to work a little harder for this second one. Also feeling the pressure of a possible second rejection, I submitted the second story, and it got selected. Not only failure forced me to challenge myself and to work under pressure on my writing skills, but it also did nothing to my other story. Rejection did not kill my first story. It did not stop my friends from loving it, and it is not stopping me from working on it, publishing it myself, or submitting it to other projects and publishers. I focused on being hired, and that brought me gratitude. I was free to try again, and so I wrote another story. I changed perspective. So, in conclusion, failure is not a door that closes. It is just a road that stops and makes us take another turn. But that doesn't end the journey at all. Hello, my name is Veronica, aka Vespertiliu. I am an Italian comic book author, tarot and oracle deck creator, and your spooky art teacher. Today I wanted to try something different. I hope you liked it. As usual, if you have any suggestions or requests for future videos, please feel free to leave them in a comment below. I will see you very soon with more art videos. In the meantime, let's make art.